Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Amy Adams' new film, The Woman in the Window, was shot 3 years ago. It's long been delayed, but it finally will be streaming on Netflix May 14th, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Amy Adams plays Anna, who suffers from severe agoraphobia and hasn't left her posh New York City brownstone in over 10 months. Now, this is pre-pandemic, before we were really used to that lifestyle. Now, despite being a psychologist herself, she suffers from severe anxiety and panic attacks from past trauma. New neighbors move in across the street, and Anna decides to let her neighbor Jane, played by Julianne, and her son stop over. She starts to feel comfortable around them, until one night she sees Jane stabbed to death by her husband, played by Oldman. Anna is adamant about what she saw, despite what Jane's husband has to say, despite what the police has to say, and more oddities that don't add up. This terrific ensemble includes Jennifer Jason Leigh, Wyatt Russell, Brian Tyree Henry, and Anthony Mackie. The Woman in the Window is directed by Joe Wright, with a screenplay by Tracy Letts, adapted from A.J. Finn's novel. Letts also stars in the film as Anna's therapist. Now, Wright takes Finn's inspiration from Alfred Hitchcock and plays on it with its clear references to Rear Window, Vertigo, and more in the first half, and kind of really shifts it to more of a slasher flick in the climax. Now, it also helps that Anna passes the time falling asleep on the couch to classic films with a glass of wine. Director Joe Wright, who also made Atonement and Pride and Prejudice, brings his usual visual eye to the film as he infuses it with a really bold color palette, from the orange hues shining in on the apartment, Anna's red coat and umbrella, to really more distinct choices in the design elements. Wright distinctly makes Anna's brownstone its own character in the film, playing with its levels and space in conjunction with the terror of Anna trapping herself inside, trying to get a better eye and angle of what's happening across the street. The suspense drives the film, as Wright has you second-guessing what's real in the film versus what is happening in Anna's head with her anxiety and trauma. Is she delusional and blending fiction with reality? Is this a cause of her mental illness, pills, alcohol, or is she telling the truth and no one believes her? Amy Adams does a really commendable job at keeping Anna present in her reality. Anna believes everything that she says, and Amy teeters every step of the way without getting too heightened or unrealistic. She pairs really well with Julianne, who plays the neighbor. She gives her this cheery, high-energy, yet nosy vibe. Now, the first half of The Woman in the Window works really well. It's super strong, despite its familiarity in the premise. But the second half tries a little too hard with the twists, the turns, and the reveals, some of which feel a little unnecessary in an attempt to keep this story going. I'm giving The Woman in the Window 3.5 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got some other movie reviews, as well as my appearances on Twin Cities Live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip, and then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of The Woman in the Window. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.